What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for an instant match reaction as Spurs have beaten Nottingham Forest by 3-1 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Talk to me, Dega. What are you saying?
Just, I can't remember. I mean, I've been here for a few watch-alongs recently, and they have not been as comfortable and as relaxing as that one. Football was better. There's some big performances in there. Richarlison's definitely one. Porro, Skip and Højbjerg were. Obviously, Kane. Mate, Foster got a penalty, a saved penalty. And overall, decent day at the office.
Yeah, it was a very decent day at the office, and some good performances all over the pitch. I mean, you could see the domination right from the beginning of the game. I thought we were stretching the pitch really well with Porro on one side, Davis on the other side. Son was doing well, tugging that touchline on the left-hand side. Richarlison was making an absolute nuisance for themselves. And I can't remember seeing a first half as comfortable as that we've had this season.
Joe, every time I get asked that question, the one I go back to is the first game of the season against Southampton. Yes, we went 1-0, but we just looked so much better than them in that first game. We looked incredible. But it's been a long time since it's been that comfortable. But obviously, Forest didn't help themselves. But we definitely looked on it, and we needed to be after two awful cup defeats.
Yeah, it looked like the deadlock was broken 4 minutes into the game. Skippy plays a lovely ball over the top for Richarlison, and he duly delivers with the absolutely pile-driving finish into the roof of the net. Gets called offside. I mean, I still want to see that again because I still don't know how it was offside. I mean, it was on the tightest of margins, wasn't it?
It really was. But you got to say that's the pass from Skip was sensational. Yeah. But Richarlison, for a man that's lacking in confidence and goals, absolutely walloped the crap out of that ball. Goalkeeper had no chance, and like his goal against Fulham, got disallowed. And this one was, like I said, I think this is extremely, extremely tight. And it should have been, but that was a sign of things to come, wasn't it, Ben?
It was a sign of things to come. And when the goal got chalked off, me and you are probably sitting here thinking, oh, is it another one of those days?
Without a doubt.
And I kept saying to you in the first 15 minutes when we were on top, I was like, we need to make this domination count. We need to get those goals. The goal did come in the 19th minute from Harry Kane. Pedro Porro with a lovely ball into Harry Kane. Richarlison was part of that move as well. Ben Davis was part of that move. And I really like the performance of Pedro Porro today. I mean, he kept getting down that right-hand side, beating his man, putting crosses in the box. I mean, probably more goals should have come from his hard work today.
Yeah, I agree. I am starting to really enjoy what I see from Porro, and he's just non-stop up and down that touchline. It looks like he's got the stamina for it as well. People were saying that he's too slight, like we were saying, or people were saying before. But it looks like he's going to build a bit of physique on him, and he does genuinely look like he could cause some major problems down that right-hand side. And going back to the goal, I mean, it's a lovely dink cross that he found Kane. Kane heading it back to where it came, like they always say. Goalkeeper was nowhere near it. But what I did enjoy in that, forget those two, the bit by Richarlison at the beginning, and Ben Davies getting that ball so it goes back to Richarlison, Porro to get the cross in. So it was a great team goal, actually.
Yeah, and you're really seeing Porro come into his own now, aren't you? And it's such a good sight to see when you've got Emerson and Porro contending for that spot when both of them are on such good form at the moment. But I think that Porro just adds that extra dimension to us, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, and also you got to remember with Porro, right now, the whole fan base is screaming for a change in football and the style of football. Listen, Emerson has been doing exceedingly well the last few games, but we know unfortunately his end product is the one stumbling block that he hasn't improved on. But you can see the more attacking, he's just head down, off we go, Porro, and he knows where to put those crosses in. Kind of like the great crossers do. They just know where to whip it into that area, wherever the players are there. And I'm starting to get quite excited about what I'm seeing with him.
Absolutely, and you know, after that Leicester game, all of us would be like, "Oh, have we signed another one of these here?" And I kind of didn't think that. I thought it was more of like a Lisandro Martinez welcome to the Premier League kind of debut. And I think that's the way it's padding out because you're seeing his performances grow week on, week out now, Pedro Porro. So it's great to see. And Ollie Skip and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in the middle were just orchestrating things, weren't they? Pinging it left, right and centre. They were absolutely on point with their ball-playing ability today. And I thought both of them had sensational performances today.
They literally played like quarterbacks today. The way it was just the short passes, there was the variation of switching it and spraying it across wide. It was I think that was apart from when, I mean, I don't even know if Bentancur and Højbjerg put in a better performance this season. Like just to forget the result of the game, a midfield where the pair have both been on it, and they most certainly were both on it today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for sure a top performance from both of them. 10 minutes before the end of the first half, we get that penalty where Charlison gets completely taken out by Joe Worrell, and the ref points to the spot, and Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does. And polishes off the penalty into the roof of the net, down the middle. Keylor Navas going the wrong way. And that kind of brought an end to the proceedings in the first half. And it was just so easy, so dominant. And I think a big reason why Højbjerg and Skip were allowed to kind of have that kind of displays, because they just weren't being put under pressure. Every time they were in the middle of the park, they had acres of space, acres of room. They had time to pick out those passes time and time again. Half-time comes. Nottingham Forest make 2 changes. They take off Mangala and Lingard, who Lingard hardly had a kick at all in that first half. They brought on Emmanuel Dennis and Andre Ayew, and things started to change for them a little bit. I thought they came back into the game. Emmanuel Dennis was looking a bit busy on that left-hand side. And that goal for us to make it 3-0 just came at the right time, didn't it, on the stroke of the hour mark?
Well, you look at it now, and what could have been with them missing that penalty, that goal is now obviously crucial. But yeah, you could see them starting to just. They couldn't have played any worse than they did in the first half. They had to start closing us down, which they did, which didn't give us our fluidity we had. But yeah, that third goal when it came, and again a Porro down the wing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Porro. I love Porro. I really do. I mean, I am falling in love with this guy. But it says it all when I'm looking at the stats, right? In the first half, Spurs had 8 goal attempts, 3 on target, 3 off target. Nottingham Forest had 1 goal attempt, none on target. Okay. In the second half, Spurs had 7 goal attempts, 4 on target, 0 off target. And the Nottingham Forest had 8 goal attempts, 5 on target and 2 off target. Those numbers aren't really adding up. So
yeah, so seven on target. But yeah,
that's what it says here. No, because there's block shots counts as shots.
Gotcha.
So I mean that tells the whole story, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean the second half became a lot more even, didn't it? But it was a little bit back and forth, but you could see Forest were coming through it. But thankfully we had that resilience today. Yeah. We had that resilience. There were a couple of shaky moments, and normally those couple of shaky moments become
from Longley, especially.
Yeah, those shaky moments then start making the whole team nervous, and then something happens. But thankfully that third goal came, and then obviously Forest got one back, didn't they?
Yeah, and kind of after our third goal, it was kind of like non-contest really after that. The game was pretty much done. Corner comes in, Joe Worrell was at the back post, Fraser Forster comes out, misses the ball, and Joe Worrell was there to head it in at the back post, and then that was with 9 minutes to go, and then right in the last kick of the game, 6th minute of stoppage time, they get a penalty for Kulusevski handball right on the edge of the area, right on the edge, and it was a penalty, so you've got to give it to them. But Big Fraser Forster steps up. I thought he wasn't great for the goal that we conceded, but he made up for it with that penalty save.
Well, with the goal, when you watch it back, one of the Forest players get ahead of him, so it's not like he just missed it. There was a touch on it that he could have read it better or come out quicker. But like the guy said in the Super Chat, was it Powder? Somehow, some way, Fraser Forster came to the rescue, and again, he made that brilliant headed save as well, didn't he? That he tipped at point blank. Yeah, and like I said, Kulusevski's body was outside the area, but his hand was on the line. So you got you got to be fair here. It was a penalty, and Foster got down to and did a really good job.
I kind of felt like for that last half an hour of the game, Spurs. It's again with Conte and game management and making changes. He just doesn't make changes early. He's not proactive enough. I felt like we needed some more energy and impetus for that last half an hour. Obviously, it didn't come to bite us this time, but I thought another day maybe it could have come to bite us.
Well, I've said as well, when you're 3-0 up and you think the game, all right, they got the goal back, surely with our running now, you want your players firing. You've been playing at a certain players non-stop. And we do have options here now. All right, we've got a few injuries that are out for the foreseeable, but there is quality that can come on, or may not be up to the standards of the person they're replacing, but can do a job. Can do a job and give the players a rest so ready. I mean, Southampton is no easy place to go to. Their form says that it should be, but we all know what happens. But it's not just Conte though, has it? It's been Pochettino did it. The only one I remember making subs as and when they needed was Mourinho, like in the first half of the Champions League, Dyer off, and he will make subs as and when he thinks they need to be done, not waiting, and it's an annoying thing for me.
Yeah. So we're talking before about Sonny and Perisic.
Yep.
Perisic out the team today. Do you think it's clear now that maybe Perisic does impact the performances of Sonny, or do you think it was just a one-off good game from Sonny today in terms of without Perisic?
So there's two ways to look at this. First of all, I'm not going to start saying, maybe Sonny will crack on from here. He'll crack on, because we've said this all season, and it just hadn't. He looked brighter, but one thing, I spent a lot of time at the start of the season going, like I said earlier, world-class players should be able to adapt, and these two should be able to find some. But now when you look at it, and the games where Davies was it suddenly came against West Ham and scored? Well, yeah. Ben Davies' first game at left back, where Perisic wasn't playing. He came on all right off the bench, gets the goal. Today, gets the goal. And at Milan, it was Son and Perisic. So it does seem, I didn't think there was anything to this before, but I certainly do now. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was always of the similar to you, like two world-class players should be able to play with each other. But what I was noticing today from him and Son, he was so far out on the left and really tugging that touchline. We haven't seen that from him really this season, because those are the positions that Perisic occupies. Yep. So maybe there is something in it. Maybe there is, but I guess all will be revealed over the coming weeks.
I think it will be as well.
Doesn't play.
And I think what's able to help this as well is Perisic has had that space, but he hasn't been delivering. If Perisic was on fire, or like he was at the beginning of the season, we might be talking about this differently. But at the moment, Perisic is off form, and seeing Son hugging that touchline, like you said, it's certainly something you wouldn't have been doing with Perisic on the pitch. So I think there's something to it now.
Man of the match today?
Dan Zuma. It's so tough today. Do you know what? I'm going to give it to Richarlison or Porro. I don't want to. Kane got the goals, but Richarlison came under so much. I'm giving it to Richarlison. I'm giving it to Richarlison.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think a few are in the running. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Porro is definitely in the running. Richarlison's in the running. Kane's in the running. Skip's in the running, in my opinion. Can I give 4? Can I give 4?
You go. Tell you what, you can do a Twitter poll and see what they say.
Men of the match. I'm going to give it to Porro.
There you go. We'll go down the right.
I'm going to give it to Porro. But I thought Skip was exceptional as well, to be fair. But we'll finish off talking about the league table as it stands now. Man United third with 49 points, 25 games played. Spurs in fourth with 27 games played, 28 points. Liverpool in fifth, 26 games played, 42 points. Newcastle in sixth with 41 points, 24 games played. So everyone's got quite a few games in hand on us. But would you rather those points on the board right now or the games in hand? 6 points above Liverpool, 7 points above Newcastle.
So what you got to remember as well, these games in hand, I think every one of these people that got games in hand, we still got to play once. So those games in hand, I know it's Newcastle, I think, are going to come back. And honestly, they're my biggest concern. Newcastle, I have a soft spot for Newcastle from Gaza and loving that city. I think they could come back, but you always say you'd rather points on the board, wouldn't you? You'd rather say these are banked rather than say I'll roll the dice. Yeah,
I'd agree with you there. But after the week that we've had, the 2 weeks that we have had, going out the Champions League, going out the League Cup, the FA Cup, to not teams that we should be beating in Milan and Sheffield United. And this team that we lost to in the League Cup earlier on in the season. Yep. I mean, is top 4 enough, like even?
For me, it's not. People know my stance on this part. If I knew top 4 we were actually going to invest and do things, then you say, yeah, do you know what? But we've done this time and time again.
It should be just the bare minimum.
Yeah, that should be Spurs. When you set your objectives and your targets, top 4 is not to be celebrated and achieved. Like you said, and I loved what you said. Last season, it was to be celebrated. It was a huge achievement from where we were, Conte coming in to get where we were in the manner that we did it. This season, it should have been with Conte and everything that was going on. That should have been, that's the minimum.
when you look at it, I think at this point last season, we're on the exact same points as we are this season. And I don't understand how you spend that much amount of money that we did in the summer and in January and not kick on. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think again, it's the caliber of players we brought in. They could listen. I'm not going to use this moment to smash Levy to bits, but I'm just going to say what we could have done is there are players that could have come in that could have been a better quality, that maybe have been a little bit more expensive, just a little bit more, and the players Conte wanted, and then who knows where we'd be. But we are fourth. And like you said, at the moment, we are qualifying for the Champions League at the moment. But like you said, compared to last season, this is a standard requirement, not a, oh my God, that's an achievement.
Agreed. Completely agree. Every word with that. But that is your instant match reaction. Spurs sitting in fourth in the Premier League as it stands. 6 points above Liverpool, who lost today in fifth. So we capitalised on them. It was a really good performance from the lads today. Bit of a scare at the end, but Fraser Forster got us through it. But thank you everyone for watching today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.